Welcome to the Dream Achievers podcast, where we focus on business owners and purpose-driven leaders in their local communities. We meet people every day where we shop, eat, and do life, and want to bring their stories to you each and every Wednesday. Now, let's get to this week's guest.
Hey, this is Andy here for another episode of Dream Achievers, and I'm joined by Rocky Hill. Rocky, thanks so much for joining us, and we're here in your new gym.
Absolutely. Appreciate you coming up and doing this with us.
Yeah, I'm excited with this. Spent a lot of time managing health clubs over the years, and I feel like I'm in a comfortable space with walking in and it being set up with this. You've been open now for a short time in this location. Share with us a little bit as far as what was it that motivated you that said, you know what, I know I'm doing all these other things, but I think it's time for a fitness center too.
The biggest thing was we're constantly trying to help people in the community. You know, we started out with special needs kids doing sports, started helping with flood victims, just kind of went down a rabbit hole, and we jumped on board and started just helping any way we could with people, doing Christmas and things like that, and we've always did that. And I was really unhealthy with all my shoulder replacements. I'd had 3 in less than 4 years and was possible having back surgery, and we started getting healthy. And as we started getting healthy and doing this and becoming a personal trainer, I was like, you know, it would be awesome if we had a place to help our elderly, you know, even older than me, because I'm 50 now, and we didn't want to open a gym. We wanted to open something that could help people like I did myself personally, but I wanted to share that love and say, hey, you know, if your right leg's giving you a hard time and you're having on a cane, let's make your left leg stronger, you know. So that's kind of why we did all this with it's more female-oriented, older-oriented youth. You know, we wanted to help a different age groups. Well, you
see so often that people understand that they're unhealthy.
Right.
They understand that they need to do something different, but they either feel too ashamed to walk into a place because they go, I'm not already fit. I'm going to walk in, everybody else is going to be in shape. Or they feel like, I'm going to go in and have no idea what to do.
Right.
So it sounds like that you have put a lot into the guidance to make sure that when people come in, they're not just going to aimlessly wander around. It's not them trying to pull up something, an app on their phone, and figure out, okay, I'll figure out how to do this. That you guide them through and help them out with that personal training background.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the biggest thing I think we do offer. We do offer the personal training one-on-one, but what we took a lot of pride in is I'm here from, we stay here, me and my wife, 5 to 5. 5 in the morning to 5 in the evening. We do have 24/7 access, but we live a mile or 2 away from here, and we've made it accessible to anybody that joins. We tell them to shoot us a message if we're not here. We'll walk you through anything you need to walk through. Nothing to do with personal training. This machine can help you do this machine. And, we just offer a lot of assistance like that. We want them to, like you said, we want them to be comfortable in here. And one of my favorite things since we've got on this health kick is healthy don't mean muscles. It don't mean a figure, it don't mean a certain weight, it don't mean none of that. Healthy is on the inside, and it's what you see in the mirror. When you see in the mirror what you want to be, that's your health, that's your fitness, and that's our goal, is to just make you comfortable in who you are, not who I want you to be.
Yeah, I can remember, I used to manage health clubs myself, and some of the most rewarding things were seeing that person from the day that they came in first. Maybe they didn't join that day, but they came in to look.
Yeah.
And then when you would follow up with them 3, 6, 12 months later, and they're just going, oh my gosh, they look like a totally different person. Even if they look the same, they just look refreshed.
Right.
They look healthy. They look comfortable.
Right.
And you see that transformation in people. And in what I do now with helping people retire, sometimes you see some of that same stuff where they're feeling refreshed and healthy when all of a sudden they're not doing that 9 to 5. But it's a different feeling to it. And you've taken a step further to where it's not just equipment, it's not just functional fitness, it's other things that are working inside of your body to help you out. And we're going to go around and look at that here in a little bit, but as you're explaining it, I'll kind of cut to it. But you've introduced red light therapy, you've got a cold plunge area, you've got a sauna. Why go that step further? It's a bigger investment for you. Why go that step further than all this equipment that you've have put a lot of money into put nice stuff in here.
Well, the biggest reason is I actually sat on the board of Medicaid board. Richmond had reached out 2 or 3 years ago when we got involved in the Hurley floods and helping, and Medicaid was trying to figure out a better way to help the people in the mountains because they couldn't get medicines to them. They couldn't get people to come to the doctor. People was becoming unhealthy. And we was brainstorming things. How can we make this better? How can we do things better? And what I learned in that situation is we just don't have the technology that a lot of people in America have, the easy access, because it is harder to get into the mountains. It is harder to get around. It is harder. So we don't have that. So I wanted to bring something like the red light therapy beds. I wanted to bring the cold plunge, something that normally you don't see around here. And we want to make it affordable, not just bring it in, but make it really cheap and affordable to where they can reap the benefits of this. There's no sense in putting a red light therapy bed in if nobody can afford it.
Right.
And in Southwest Virginia, we live a little lesser around here, and I'm proud of that because, those deep roots, it makes us who we are. So that's the biggest reason. I want to offer something that nobody else has in this area. It will make people healthier. It will help them get over that hump you're talking about,
So you've seen red light therapy used in a variety of resources to help people out. I know obviously, a lot of people say that, hey, it's going to help you out with inflammation or just kind of feeling better, not as achy with that, but what are some of the other applications?
One of the biggest is the arthritis, joint pain. It really helps with it, and something that I'm researching that I just got turned on to when we purchased the beds was the PTSD and the mental aspect of it. I didn't know they was treating veterans for PTSD with the red light therapy and the chronic pain. Chronic pain's a big one, and I'm not just trying to tell you to get in it. I use it myself 2 or 3 days a week, and the mental aspect, the PTSD, which I suffer from, I'm not ashamed of that. It's really been a calmness with me. It's I love it. I love it. I've had several people that's been in it. They're like, hey, my skin care, psoriasis, eczema. I've got 2 or 3 patients that come in and they get treated for that. That's what they do. I'm not a doctor or anything, but they do their own research and they're getting treated for that. I have an elderly lady. I'm very proud of her. She's 70, I think, and she says it's totally changed her lifestyle. Just the feeling she gets, the skin, her feeling in her skin now. I really recommend anybody do their own research on red light therapy, the benefits of it.
Yeah, we'll show that bed as far as here at the end. So stay tuned to the end so you can see some of these things that we're talking about and get a better understanding around them with that. Now, cold plunge. This isn't like the ice bucket challenge where you just dump the icy water on you. You get into the ice water with this. And I've seen people do it where they take like old chest freezers and they fill it up with the water and put ice in and everything. How long does somebody have to get into that to be able to actually experience some of the benefits?
2 minutes. I recommend it. Don't get me wrong. I've got some people that go in for 30 seconds and build their stamina up towards it. But I recommend 2 to 2.5 minutes. That's basically the general feeling everybody gets. But I go some days I'll do 5 minutes. I've got one younger cat. He lays in that thing, man. He loves it. He's like 8-9 minute guy. And my recommendations on that like I said, we've really researched it in depth, is say that you got high blood pressure. It's not recommended as much use for a high blood pressure, but what they do recommend is start them out at 60, 70 degrees to where it's not got that initial shock to them. You don't want to start them out on 35, 40 degrees. I'm down to 41 now.
So it's adjustable.
I don't do the ice.
Okay.
We kind of, it's pretty neat. I think it's pretty neat what we did and what we came up with. You was talking about the freezers and all that. Yeah. We didn't redneck it that bad. We didn't coal mine it that bad. 27 years of coal mines. I should say we didn't coal mine it that bad. But what we did is we started noticing everything was really expensive, and it was no more than inflatable tubs. And it was still $2,000-$3,000. And I was like, and this is what I mean by what we did. I was like, some of my older people is not going to be able to get in that and get out. So what's the use us putting something in if everybody can't benefit from it? You know, people talk about inclusive. Inclusive means everybody.
Right.
So I went and bought a brand new bathtub that is a low profile bathtub. Still got the depth in it, but it was easy to step in and out. It's only about a foot off the ground. And then we bought a chiller.
Okay.
You can buy the chillers with the micro filters, and you can actually throw those in, and in 15 minutes you've got clean water, and you can get your temperature down to where you want it, and you can adjust it.
Wow.
So I'll show you that later. But it's really neat.
We'll definitely check
We
that one out.
kind of brainstormed, and me and my wife went with that route, and it's really worked out great.
Now, in order to get all this, obviously you've spent time and you've invested into it, but you've invested a lot in the community over your lifetime as well. So in 50 years, why has that been so important to you?
The biggest reason is don't get me wrong, I would not change my, I want this to be told, I would not change my childhood for anything in the world. I grew up in Red Ash, right by Raven, Cold Tipple place. My dad, he's worked for everything he had in his life. He got out, I say all the time, he didn't really get out of Red Ash, but Dad made something of himself. He became a coal miner and worked hard. Mom worked hard. And growing up in Red Ash and seeing the wants, the needs that you don't have, and the hard times and all that you seen your family go through, and the things that we suffered as a child, didn't have, and things I dealt with through high school that I didn't have that other people had. And, not that we didn't work hard for it. It was just, tough times. And I know people say that nothing should be free in life. And I agree with that to a certain extent. I don't know. It gave me a heart to help people, because I didn't want nobody to ever suffer. Not that I suffered bad, but some of my suffering, I didn't want them to go through it.
Yeah.
I didn't want any kid to ever have to go to school and, get picked at or picked on over this, or whatever the reason was. Nothing to do with just being poor, just anything. And even our elderly, it breaks my heart that we just leave our elderly. It's like, well, they're old, they're adults, they can take care of themselves, and it's kind of like a child. The older you get, the more you become childlike again. Not everybody, but most do. And as I don't know what the reasons, but children and elderly, it's kind of like, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Seeing the struggles in Southwest Virginia, So I just wanted to help people. Me and my wife's my backbone. I can't leave out my wife. She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's the reason, Now
you kind of had this, you said it was this moment that kind of spurred you on. It's when you got hurt.
Yeah.
With your shoulder, and it kind of opened you up to a lot of opportunities to get out and help more.
Right.
And not to go into detail with the injury, but as far as you hurt your shoulder, you had to do the shoulder replacement.
And that didn't go too well.
That didn't go well.
We'll leave it at that. And you put it on that. We'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it there. But that opened up to where there was other opportunities to serve in the community, and a lot of that, unfortunately, we're going through a lot of it right now. It's people that are victims of circumstance of flood, of just acts of just unforeseen circumstance.
Yeah.
With that, you just had your tundra of hope that went out with a whole load, even more than what you thought was going to be going, to where you had to get extra help. But it's so easy for all of us on a day-to-day to say, "Man, I'd like to help, but I'm busy."
Yeah.
What was it that just kicked you in the behind and said, "You're not too busy. You can get out and do it"?
Yeah. It's 4 years ago when the Hurley flood happened, and I was still recovering. I'll give you two stories. It's pretty neat to me that explains it all. Me and my son woke up, and I had seen on social media, I was a superintendent at United Coal Company, and the Hurley boys, they had worked for me for years and years and years, and them guys worked hard for me, made me who I was. They made me look good. And I seen so many of my coworkers that worked for me struggling. And I told my son, I said, never forget it, Trey Atkins' gym, They said they was taking donations. And I said, son, I said, come on, we're going to get a pallet of water. And he was 17 at the time. And I said, you help me load it. So we did, and we took it down there, and there was one truck that just pulled in with a load of water, and we had the other load. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. This lady, this elderly lady, she looked at me and she said, well, this is a good little start. I said, what do you mean, ma'am? She said, this is all we got in the gym. At that moment, there was 2 pallets of water. That was it. And you can ask anybody in Hurley this story. It's a true story. 2 pallets of water. And I said, no, it's not a good start, ma'am. I said, y'all have lost everything. We've got to make something happen. And me being a superintendent, leader, I just always been born that way. Even when I played baseball as a young man, I just naturally was a leader. And I messaged my wife. I said, put this out on social media. This is what we need. And by the time I got back to Richlands, everything I needed was at 2 of my places that we had made stops for 3 months straight. We never slowed down for 7 days a week, taking it to Hurley. Started with a pallet of water. And that's how it started, that simple. There wasn't no, I got to do this or that. And then, of course, when Whitewood happened, we jumped right in on it. It was, I actually messaged Travis Ackworth and I said, hey, where can I help? He sent me to a location, and Thunder of Hope got through, and they turned me loose and said, let the Black Thunder go. And then this last time, I can't take the credit. I cannot take any credit for the last time, because this is a true story too. Me and my wife on a Thursday night was laying in the bed. We just got through working at the gym. We was exhausted. This place wasn't up and ready. We were supposed to open on Sunday. This is Wednesday night, I'm sorry. Wednesday night, we were supposed to open on Sunday on my birthday for my 50th. And we were scrolling through social media. She was too. We was just winding down, and it's kind of sad. I feel bad in a sense for it. She looked over at me and she said, feels weird us not being a part of helping. And at this time, we had no power either. Mm-hmm. I was taking the generator back and forth. So we had no power either. My house was tore all to pieces. So I said, yeah, it does feel weird us not helping people. And she said, I know. She goes, but we needed a break, honey. She goes, we got to take care of ourselves sometimes. And you're doing the right thing. You got to get us back on our feet, honey. I said, okay. I said, you're right. So we went to sleep. I woke up I used to get up about 2, 3, 4. My friends make fun of me because I never sleep. Logan Cantrell with Cantrell Holdings, he's like, man, do you ever sleep? Him and his wife Izzy, but I'm building into that. I get up 3 in the morning, and I had a message at 11 o'clock at night. By then I was asleep, and it said, hey, what's up? I was like, why is he sending me that? So I sent it at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, nothing, I just got up. So anyways, he says, I'm gonna stop by. So I get here, I'm working, we're painting, everybody's working, me and the wife, even my little Jedediah. My son had helped, my older son had came in and helped, and Logan comes in and he says, Rock, he said, me and Izzy need to ask you a favor. And this is Cantrell Holdings, who we partnered with, and he said, we're not gaining no traction on getting donations, and Izzy, and we really want to help. Me and my family really want to help those people in North Carolina. And they was like, I know you're putting in a business, and we know you need to get started, but would you please help us and be a center of people dropping things off and maybe get us a jump start on social media? And I said, Logan, you can ask Logan this. I said, Logan, I'm going to kill you. I said, I'm going to kill you. So I texted the wife and I said, hey, don't kill me, but we're jumping in. And at that moment, we jumped in. I put it out. I said, Logan, leave it to me. I put it out on social media. And man, I don't know why Southwest Virginia, other than the good Lord himself, is the biggest reason, but people in Southwest Virginia trust me and my wife and God's Rockstars. They trust us to no end. I guess because we prove to them what we do.
Yeah.
But man, here comes Southwest Virginia behind us. They're behind Logan and Cantrell Holdings, and we just partnered up, and then boom, you've seen on social media what happened. 3 trailer loads, churches bringing stuff in, City on the Hill, Life Church. Everybody just jumped in and made it a central location. And It took off, man. I mean, Southwest Virginia in less than 12 hours, we raised over 2,500 coats. 2,500 coats in less than 12 hours right there in that parking lot. And that was probably the most amazing feat I'd ever seen, because my brother-in-law, Sean Ryder, was in the middle of it. He's actually working down there. He's the bridge man. He's over all of it down there. And at that time, you couldn't get in. Couldn't get out, couldn't get in. And we knew the weather was dropping that week. And I said, Sean, I knew he was coming home for 12 hours. I said, Sean, could you get coaches to them people? He said, if you can raise them, I'll get them in. And we raised over 2,500 coats in less than 12 hours.
Unreal.
And that's Southwest Virginia. Yeah. That's not me, Yeah, I may be the tip, but it's everybody else behind us.
Well, we talked about, as far as, for my wife and I, and going to a donation center that was down in Johnson City to take stuff, to see the hands and feet of God moving.
Yeah.
In that moment was overwhelming.
Yeah, get some cold
Oh
chills.
man. And still to this, I mean, this is going to be a rebuilding effort that's not
No,
weeks.
we're not even close.
It's not months, it's years of rebuilding.
Right.
In some of these places. You see a lot of it that might be more mainstream of Asheville and stuff, and obviously got hit hard, and it's going to need rebuilt. But some of these smaller areas,
like Shawana.
yes,
That breaks my heart on them.
the Swananoa River coming through and taking out the communities. When I was trying to just comprehend the volume of water that came through, and I saw a picture that put it into context, and it showed the high water mark in a tree. And I went, oh, wow, that's pretty high. And then I saw the actual tree, and this was like a 40, 50 foot up in the air sign that had been hung when the water receded.
Right.
There's no comprehension of that coming through. It'd be like looking at the clinch and going, oh, it might be up a little bit.
And it's 70 foot high coming through there.
It would destroy so much around us. But, to be able to go through and get that and get things to where people need it and being that voice and that connector, that's what I see when I see you and your wife, that so much of it is being that connector.
Yeah.
Of saying, listen, it's not us, but we can be a conduit to get it to where it needs to go. We can be a voice that shares out to people, and people will listen, and we can make things happen, and we can move mountains. That's what's happened.
Right. Oh, it does.
Multiple times over.
It gives me cold chills every
twice.
time I think about it, because it happens all the time. I don't know why God blessed us with that blessing or gift or whatever, but yes, it's a connection. I mean, people listen if I speak on social media with it, and I made a vow a long time ago, and I get a lot of crap because I post, but 95% of the time you will see nothing but good or real. Even the 5%, it's real. It's real. It's things we deal with on a daily basis. But I promised I would never argue with you on Facebook. I'm never going to post negative on there. I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not going to fight with you over religion. We just want to be an encourager, a leader. And, sometimes people just need a positive word every once in a while. Not necessarily from the Bible, just real life people that's living and saying, hey, I'm dealing with the same thing you're doing. I'll show you that I am.
Yeah.
We
had a great message this week at our church where they were going through and looking at kind of the 4 key pillars that kind of make us move through a day now in modern society, and this was the first week, and it was talking about stress. Yeah. Listen, all of us have it. All of us have it that goes through, and we a lot of it is self-inflicted, that we set deadlines and put things on ourselves where it makes it unrealistic.
Right.
But then those stressors that can be felt, and we had that hard wake-up call during the hurricane that we're without power for 8 days. Having to travel back and forth to town to be able to fill up water jugs. To be able to get water
out.
And luckily we camped a lot, so we had all food was good. We knew how to cook. We knew how to take care of those things. But even in the moments when you would want to complain, and you set that kind of temperature check, and you said, I've got a roof over my head.
Yep.
I've got the health of me and my family, compared to others that have nothing right now. So it's a stark wake up call.
It is.
One of the things that I know that you have been passionate about, and it was kind of a shift in focus for you, was in doing kind of more of a coaching leadership role, that you did a lot, that you started helping out more of the special needs movement in the area.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of that had to do also with social media.
It did.
Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, we that was 5 years ago. Some good friends of ours, and they're doing amazing. They took it to a different level that I couldn't. And that you was talking about the conduit.
Yeah.
I don't always am the finisher, but I do get a lot of things started, and other people pick it up and take off and run with it. And I take a lot of pride in that, and proud that God put that on our back, and then God just gives it to them, and they're the anointed ones and takes it and runs with it. You know, like Marcus and Andrea, that's got Mighty Warriors in Lebanon. That was our original partners in this. I brought it to them because their son, and he's an amazing human being, and we was a church at the Anchor at the time, and we was doing it fast, and that's what laid on my heart, just to put, because I'd coached for 20 years. I mean, my kids, everybody else's kids, and I never did that, and it put on my heart. And I got a good friend that lives in North Carolina, Chad Durham. I brag about a lot. His son, Jack Attack, and I'd always kept up with him for the last 10 years on social media, and I'd always been excited to watch him. And I always wanted to do it, and then we did the fast, and we was at the Anchor at the time, and I brought it to Marcus and Andre's attention, and we took off with it. COVID hit, shut us down. Then we kind of started helping with the Hurley, and we kind of went away. We still loved the Anchor and Pastor Joel, and we went separate ways, but we still kept God's Rockstars, and initially started, and then them two went and started Mighty Warriors, which is amazing. They took it to a level I could never take it, and I give them all the credit. Mighty Warriors in Lebanon's amazing. Mm-hmm. I love what they're doing with that. And then this year we started the Challenger League with Richlands Little League, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. The lady in Colburn was one of the OGs, the Angels. Mm-hmm. She was way before us. But just to see it blossom. Honaker started one, in the last year and a half. And here you're starting to see, and it's not that we had anything to do with that. That was all God and awareness. I do say awareness because, like inclusive means everybody. And I just believe that's what happened. Just we made people aware. Do we do it as much as we did? Nope. But everybody else is doing it now. Yeah. And that's the goal. It don't matter how we get there, just as long as we get there and in.
I know we lived down in Orlando for about 3 years, and one of the gentlemen down there, Matt Morgan, who was a former professional wrestler and now a leader in the community with that, his son is nonverbal autistic.
Right.
And to see how much attention was brought to saying, listen, for Jack's, trying to get him out and show him like you're normal, you can do all the same things.
Absolutely.
And get him involved into a youth league as far as playing ball, and just seeing that and seeing other people being able to bring their kids out, and the Longwood outside of Orlando where they're at has done so much around that. Yeah. And to see when we came back here and to see that same thing happening in these small mountain communities where if we rewound 30, 40 years ago, you'd be like, no, that stuff, no way.
Well, people would say they was acting out or something. It wasn't even,
it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
But it's just amazing to see that and that movement and that work that goes with it.
And the park was a different level. I don't know, I guess you know about the park. Yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah, being able to go through and, again, have an inclusive space, have something that brings awareness to that, that helps kind of shine a light on it and say, listen, we want to make things where people can enjoy it.
Right.
We want to bring the community together and understand that everybody's different, and that puzzle fits together different ways for different people.
It's exactly right.
But it's a great thing to be able to see that. Rocky, there's so much that you have going on. For those that are out there that want to follow along, obviously we'd love for them to be able to come in here and experience everything that you got. But those that maybe are not able to, they might be further out. How can they follow along with your story? What's the best way? Social media?
Yeah, social media is the biggest thing. Rocky Hill. We've gained enough now that people has to follow me. I can't add friends unless I lose a friend, but just follow us on social media, Rocky Hill or McKinley Hill, and we actually have Rockstarts Health and Fitness up as a page, and
They just had a bunch of growth this week. With
oh man, it went huge. And then God's Rockstarts was the original page, for our special needs, and we still post in that. We still plan on doing. We've actually got something pretty neat. I haven't said anything about that coming in the spring. It's not really sports, but it's an activity that I give you a little tidbit. It's going to be an amazing thing. It's got to do with being in shape, but we're going to be the ones that has to work hard to do it. And it's going to involve the community. It's going to involve the people that can't ride bikes no more, or never got to ride a bike, never got to see the scenery because they can't get out on a bike and ride. So we're building something. It's in the front yard. We're building something really neat.
I'm excited for that.
But yeah, just follow us on, any of the social media networks. That's the simplest way to me.
Great. Well, I always like to end every interview with a special question, and that's, how do you want to be remembered? And there's so much that you've done to this point, and I know more that you're going to continue doing between you and your wife. But what is it, in the future you want people to look back and remember you all for?
The biggest thing, I know my wife feels the same way, but it's just simple for me. It's as simple as it gets. And I take a lot of pride in this. I'm not a preacher, not a pastor. I'm not a deacon. I don't have a church. People gives me a hard time, says I got a church and I do all this, but I don't have a church. I don't post a lot of Bible verses. I don't Bible thump on people. I usually never even bring it up unless somebody brings it up to me and I can have that conversation. But that's how I want to be remembered. And that's, my hero's Jesus. My hero's Jesus. It's that simple. Whether people want to believe that he was real or not, that's your choice. I know he's real in my heart. That was my hero. It still is my hero, but I want people, when Jesus said, I want people to see me in you. That's church. If you look at me when I die and say, man, he lived as hard and as close to what Jesus did as any human I've ever seen, then I'm good, because that means you've seen the light of him in me. It's that simple. You didn't see Rocky. I don't want nobody to remember Rocky. I want everybody to remember Jesus in Rocky, because he's the one we got to believe in at the end, not Rocky.
Yep.
We'll fail you. You'll fail, I'll fail every time. But I just want people to say, man, he loved Jesus, and he really lived it. He lived it, man. I would love to have been a disciple. I think that's the greatest. Man, wouldn't you like to? I mean, that just fires me up thinking about it. It's not a pride thing, but could you imagine that? Could you imagine that feeling, walking in communities and really doing the good deeds? And that's where we get the band from. Be a miracle. They was miracles. We like to talk about the big miracles we seen, parting of the sea, all those big miracles. But to me, it's as simple as maybe a hug that day. Like you said, stress level you was taught in church this week. Yeah. Well, guess what? Stress is a killer, man. Somebody may not make it tomorrow because their stress level's too high. But if I open that door for you and I say, how you doing, sir? You need a hug? And I give you a hug. That may be enough to relieve just enough stress to get you to the next day. And then that's up to God to change, not me. And that's that simple for me. Wow. That's how life is with me.
When you can make that difference and put it so simply, as far as just say, listen, I'm perfectly imperfect.
Absolutely.
And that's the best way to be, because I know that I'm not the end all be all, but I can do everything I can to help.
That's right.
So that's great. Well, Rocky, I appreciate your time to be able to go through. We're gonna stick around. I'm gonna take you around, show you some of the stuff that's here in the center to be able to enjoy. But I really appreciate your time to be able to sit down, and hopefully all of you all that are still watching with this, that you've enjoyed this. Be sure to down below, like, share, subscribe, so you never miss an episode. And until next time, this is Andy signing off, saying I'll catch you down the road.
Appreciate you, my man. Thank you. All right, this is our red light therapy room here. This is the red light bed that we keep talking about. We post a lot of information about this, and I recommend everybody do their own research on the red light therapy of how it can help you. As you do your research, you'll find there's not a lot of side effects to this. Not a lot of side effects to this at all, because it gets to the core of your body, and it's just been an amazing product. We just can't. People are just raving over this every time they use it, especially some of our older ones. With healing, arthritis, joint pain. With me with shoulder replacements, trust me, it's been amazing. So this is our red light therapy bed. Have all the privacy in your room here. It locks behind you. We tried to make everything comfortable. Before you come in, it's a nice little place, and just have some peace.
It looks like it's as simple as laying down like in a regular tanning bed.
It's a 15-minute session. You come in, put your glasses on. I program everything from the outside, and then when you're ready, I'll hit the start button, and you got 3 minutes to start, and then you hit your red button, and you're good to go. You lay 15 minutes, and it's a utopia. I'm telling you, I can't explain what it does, but I love it personally.
That's awesome.
So that's your red light bed.
Now you also got over here, you've got your cold plunge room, your sauna room.
Yep.
That's here around the corner.
Yeah. What we do now, this is included in the gym package. That's what makes this even neater. Red light therapy is super cheap for that product, and it's an appointment only. But the gym package itself actually gets tanning, 4D massage chair, the gym, 24/7 access, plus the cold plunge and the sauna. That's what makes this fitness center different. You don't have to have an appointment for this. This is for the customers. Just to come in, this is yours. But this is our cold plunge. We didn't go with the traditional inflatable big tanks because, like I said, we wanted to make a difference in everybody's lives. And we got to thinking, somebody with a knee replacement, somebody that's just struggling to get around, back, older, they can't get in and out of the tanks. So we kind of coal mined it. We didn't coal mine it. We did it really nice. But we went ahead and bought the bathtub. We mounted our own handles on it. And you can see it's a low profile bathtub, but it's still got the sunken bathtub. So you still get in depth in it. We bought the chiller. A lot of people does the ice and all that, but we went and invested in a chiller with a microfilter. And we can control the temperature at all times. It's basically a big refrigerator, and I can adjust up and down on temperatures. If somebody gets in here and after they leave, what I do is drop my filter system in. I'll run it for 15 minutes as required, but I usually run it for about an hour. And we do treat our water just as a safe fill, But that's the cold plunge.
Because it's going to go through there. It's going to sterilize everything.
It's sterilizing it. The filter is going to sterilize it, but what we don't only treat it, what also we do is we come to find out Epsom salt, of course, heals your body, but it also kills bacteria. Mm-hmm. So we actually throw Epsom salt in it every morning too. So we're kind of like not just one way of killing.
It's like a triple check.
Triple check.
Yeah.
Because, when you run something like this, you really want to keep everything under control and a good quality clean. We really want clean environment here.
Yeah, same clean as if you're coming in and working out, where you're given towels
Absolutely.
to wipe stuff down and sterilizer,
Yeah.
To be able to prevent people from getting MRSA or anything like that.
Same thing like this.
Same idea, same concept.
Yeah,
Keep it
and
clean.
then that's the next thing on the agenda. You talk about coming in getting sweaty. We're putting shower room in the back, but it's take a little time. The flood's got us behind.
A little bit more with that. And then over here you've got
2-person sauna. It's pretty neat. It's all thermal, dry, but you got it turns in. We keep the Himalayan salt. I change it out every morning. We put reason why I do that, I got the heated glass up there, and that heat, it just kind of gives us a little, I don't know if you've ever researched Himalayan salt, but the benefits of it's amazing.
we used to go to there was a salt cave.
Yeah.
Where we would go get massages.
Right.
And the floor was the crushed Himalayan salt. The walls were Himalayan salt bricks.
Yeah. I've seen them. We may do that eventually, but we kind of did that. We put the Himalayan salt in there, and you can change your colors, whatever color you want. Because a lot of people don't know this, but calmness, different people at different age have to have different colors to create calmness. That's like a lot of people don't know it, but older people love light blue because it keeps them calm. It don't agitate them. That's actually, and that's one reason we do things like this. We pay attention to colors. You know, you don't want to, somebody that may deal with autism, you know, you don't want to put bright colors on them that quick. They may be and you can change that. And that's what makes that so neat. We can put music on, whatever, control the temperatures. We keep it at 140. And speaking of our, not just special needs, disabled, veterans, whatever, we made sure to put in a handicap door. If I have anybody that shows up and wants to do this, then this door's got a access point. We open it. It can actually get a 52 inch. I don't know if they even make them, but I think 48, but this is 52 inches wide. We can bring them in a wheelchair. We can set them in ourselves. We can put them in here. So we made this handicap accessible because it wouldn't be all inclusive if we didn't make it that way.
Yeah.
So same thing with red light therapy. It's got a handicap door too. We take a lot of pride in the little things. The little things, like the handles. People don't think about things like that.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with handicap. Me.
Just safety. Grab handles.
Me,
get in and out.
grab handles. I struggle getting in. I can't get out of the bathtub I have to roll out of the bathtub still to this day. I may look like I'm in shape, but that don't mean the shoulders work.
Yeah.
But this is the cold plunge hot therapy. I call it cold hot therapy. If you really get down that rabbit hole, not just a cold plunge. A lot of people does the cold plunge, and a lot of people does the sauna. But if you will do a 2.5 minute cold plunge and have this on ready, and then you jump in there in that thing at 120 degrees, that cold hot therapy, game changer. Total game changer on your lifestyle, promise you. Like I said, I turned 50 and it's the best I've probably felt since I was playing 3-man and travel softball. And that's the truth, back in my 20s. So that's it. It's
Very cool.
cold hot therapy.
So that's with a
Should have
couple
told
things.
you we got heated towels too.
Yeah, that's with a couple things that maybe you don't typically see, but some of the stuff that you see typically in a fitness center.
Yeah.
That you've also got in here. You want to take us around and show just a little bit as far as what you got?
Well, we just to give you a heads up, like I had an older gentleman today. He works out. He loves this machine. It's a back machine. And he said, Rock, he's 71. He said, I struggle to get up there and grab that, but I love that machine. He said, could you put me a chain on there? So we went today and got him a chain. We got him a 1,000-pound chain here, so there's not 1,000 pounds on there, but guess what? When he sits down, he can grab it.
It's accessible.
It's accessible. So we did little things like this. This is kind of our boot camp, one of our boot camp workout things. We made this one. This is pretty neat. It wraps around you like a squat thing. And then what it allows is a lot of people, it's as simple as walking. And some people don't walk very good, but they want to get a little bit of strain in there. Well, some of the machines won't allow you to do it. So they put the squat on it and they just take slow steps back. The tire comes up. I've got smaller tires outside that I can hook up for them. So it's little therapy things that we figured out on our own that help people.
So you figured out different engineering ways to
Absolutely.
say how can we accomplish a task to be able to be functional fitness.
Right. Absolutely.
Not just aesthetic fitness, but functional
Right,
fitness.
absolutely. And we want to be cutting edge. We want to come up with that new way to help somebody. Like please don't be mad at me, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law. But my wife's mom and stepdad, when we opened this up, September 29th, it's almost a month, they asked me if I'd start personal training because he was almost getting ready to be on a cane. And he was that bad. I promise you, if I never speak another word, the first thing we did was I told them all I wanted them to do was just come up and let's work on balance and step back off. It was that simple. They both struggled to do that. Struggled. I mean, I had to assist them. Struggled. 3 weeks into the personal training, I promise you, they was going up and down this like nothing. They was like, well, I want to try this. This is yesterday. They wanted to try this one. They got up there, didn't even stagger, didn't fall. They went up and down this one and didn't stagger. Their balance was perfect. And we did things to get them there. But, like, for instance, one thing we did do that to get them there. He used to be a weightlifter. He used to like to do things, and his arms won't go back, kind of like mine. His arms won't go back to hold the bar for a squat rack. And he's like, and his wife did the squat on the youth and the female. He couldn't. He's like, Rock, I can't do that. I said, yeah, you can. Watch this. So all you do, we know he can't go down too far, so you just move these up and you get them even. The bar can't go no further. And then all you do is put it down on his shoulder like this. His arms don't have to go back out. All he's got to do is pick this bar up with his shoulder, which is a squat. And then when he does that, all I do is flip this back. He goes down, pushes back up, and he can squat. Tickled him to death that he's got to squat.
And he's got the safety of knowing, hey, with those stops in place, I'm not going to go to where I put myself in a compromised position.
Right. It's not going to hurt his legs. It's not going to hurt his hips no more. It's not going. So we do offer things, you know, for the people that's hindered with injuries or older age or young age, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be. Even if it is a man in his 30s that's got weak legs and he just never worked his legs, we can accommodate him. All inclusive. Yeah. We can make it happen here.
And as I was showing up, you said you were working on some nutrition plans for folks. So it's not just coming in and working out. It's also what can you do outside of these four walls to better your health?
Well, the biggest thing is nutrition. It starts there. Because, you know, I tell people all the time, if you don't start here in the mind, you're not going to do it here. If you can't tell your bicep to move, it ain't going to move. If you can't tell your foot to move, it ain't going to move. So you got to feed the mind. You got to feed it healthy. And I mean that by food and what you take in, because we've become a society to where whether people want to talk about it or they're scared or whatever, but I say the elite or the higher ups or the big pharmas, the big medicines, whatever you want to call them, they want us an unhealthy society, because guess what? If you're unhealthy, that means that's more money you're spending on Medicare, insurance, prescriptions, whatever. So whether anybody wants to admit it or not, people want us unhealthy. So if we can eat right, we can drink the right things and make our body healthy on the inside, that will make us fit. Know the difference. Fitness don't mean muscles. Got to be healthy on the inside to come here and get fit.
I mean, you want to talk about muscles don't make you healthy. Look up what Ronnie Coleman looks like
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely. Ronnie Coleman. Had the male bathrooms. They're very nice. We've made these more family to where you can just go in and, you know, it's not a little bitty small area in your bathroom, you know.
Come in, get changed, get ready.
And I like
if you
my
got to
smell
come
good
after work.
stuff, so it always smells good in here. I got one lady, I think she's got allergies because when I come in, all my candle warmer things are turned off. And I'm like, I believe she's got allergies.
Yeah. My wife has asthma real bad, so for her, that's one of the things that a lot of times if we'll go places that she'll be like, hey, can you go ahead and cut it off before I come in?
And we offer all the bands. That's for people that struggle with weights or anything like that. Another thing we really paid attention to what I struggle with and what a lot of people struggle with, but everything's rubber coated on the dumbbells. Metal hurts me. Metal hurts my shoulder. I don't know why. And a lot of people don't like it. A lot of females don't like the metal weights. So we did go with the rubber coated dumbbells. And of course, that's kind of the training area, you know, stretching area. I call it the female area because they like coming back here. They got the mirror, which I like the mirror too.
You've got the therapy bands mounted as far as with the anchor points, so you've got somewhere to easily be able to do that.
Yep, these are mounted 4 inches in. And like I said, this is for anybody that struggles, that can't do the weights. It's just the bands. We can do different exercises. We can go to a lighter band, bigger band. That's a scoop tire from the coal mines. We cleaned it, brushed it down, got some good friends. But we do that with our training on our boot camp. It's just a tire lift. And we just got this in. I'm proud of this too. And people don't think like this. We tried to think this way. Deadlift. Not everybody can deadlift. A lot of your younger guys that are into deadlift and they're big. But what people don't understand, when you get older, you can't hold the bar up, put it on. Even the deadlift machines, we just don't want to lift those weights. Our joints can't handle it the older we get. So this machine actually allows you to get in. It's a lot safer. You can put lighter weight on, and it's not got you out of a bind like a big bar would, you know. So it's kind of got its safety things. You know, if you drop it, it goes down square.
You know, back in the day, we would have grabbed the the plates over there and done farmer's walks back and
Absolutely.
forth. But if you don't have the grip strength to do that, you can go through and you've got an easier carry to be able to do that same task.
And we still got our younger. We still got our squat rack, power racks, and our benches.
Everybody still wants to throw a few plates on and throw them up. They can, but that's...
Cool thing about it, you said plates. Everything is rubber coated Olympic plates. Nothing is metal.
Yeah.
All of it's rubber coated. Let's see. We got more stuff too. This has been really good. The hip thruster has been really good for my women. The older people, like me, we have trouble. You remember the leg extension, the curl machine. A lot of people can't get up and down on that as far as getting in that position because it's a tough position to get in. This, you just come in, sit down. You sit down on this, you let this down. It's got safety here, and you can put bands on this if they're not strong enough. And all they do is just hip thrust. And that works, their feet will be there, and it works their hammies. So we've got a lot of machines that people can really...
And for so many people, they lose that range of motion in their hamstrings, in their hip flexors, and that's what's going to cause people to have injuries, be more prone to them, is by not being able to have that. So having things where you can help start to get that range of motion back before you build the strength.
Right, absolutely. It's like a couple that we personal train. We haven't got off of legs and core because I told them no matter how big and strong we're here, if you can't carry it and you ain't got your core, it don't matter. So each week, once a week, that's what we work on. It's core.
If you wake up and your back's hurting, it's probably weak core.
Exactly.
Weak core, weak legs. Start with that. Build that stability from the ground up.
This was pretty neat. When I bought this, I didn't realize it, but the guy was explaining to me, and I really like it. It's a leg press, but it's a leg press with shocks. Never seen one, but he explained to me why. It gives. And when we get older, like you and me, your joints hurt. And the more you press, the more you're putting tension, like you said earlier. Everything's bone to bone now. This don't allow that extension to where you got that pressure in that kneecap or those ankles to where it's extended out and locked. This will allow that movement to where you don't get to that point. So it's got forgiveness in it. It's better for your joints. So really like that. That's really neat. And then we got, of course, the normal, leg machines, treadmills. We do got an ab area. I went old school with this one because a lot of people don't do these things no more, but the torso, really nobody works that a lot, but this is an older machine that I've refibbed and I love it because it's got the twist in it. And, like I said, the 40 plus loves this machine now. They're like, man, that stretches. Same thing with this. It's an older machine. Don't know why they re-updated it because it's perfect, but it's a back machine, but it's got this arch in it. And not only you pull it back, when you go a little further, it gives you that arch and it gives you that stretch in that back. And
instead of doing that prone where you're bent over and put yourself in a hyperextension.
Well, I'll show you.
You're able to go through and be in a safer range of motion.
Well, and it gives you this little extra stretch. And it's like, most people would go here and stop because they've did the weight. But if you go on back, see how it arches that? Mm-hmm. And everybody's loving it because they're like, man, my back, it feels good. It's stretched. You're stretching it along with working it out.
It's getting the same stretch almost that you would if you had an inversion table.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we kind of went a little old school on some of these things. We just refurbed them and people are loving them. People are loving them. We got your row machine, of course. If you... I'm
going to guess that's a key part of your boot camp.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all of it. We incorporate about everything. How we do the boot camp is the more people show up, the more stations we have. If I have 10 people, I got 10 stations. And I'll have a list of 15. If I got 10, I let them pick what they don't want. So, and it's 1 minute on, 2 minutes off. And then we do that for 30 minutes, take a break, and then you go again for 30 minutes. So we incorporate cardio, everything in it. Cardio.
When you get done, I know behind you you've got your massage chair.
Yep.
It looks like a space pod, but
it's a 4D zero gravity. Yeah, the zero gravity, I didn't really understand it, but it takes you back, and when it takes you back, you don't feel that. A lot of people don't understand this, and I didn't understand it till I had the 3 shoulder replacements. But the hardest thing for me now is sleeping, because the gravity of my weight will pull on my shoulders. So my wife had one laying around, and it was a little bitty thick cushion that squeezes. So now I sleep like a teddy bear. And guess what that does? It locks in my arm, it don't pull, so I don't hurt at night as bad. So when I seen this, same thing. Some people may deal with that gravity pain in their back because just the gravity of laying down, the pressure. This lays you back and keeps you supported at all times. You put your arms in. I'll sit down in it and give you an idea. But your feet go in. It supports your entire body at all times will be supported. And that's what I like about it. There's no movement in it. See? And this will lean